My name is Noah Cavanaugh. I've reviewed and tested hundreds of football boots, and this is my review of the Mizuno Morelia Ultralight, one of my grail pairs of football boots. Now, if you guys haven't seen my new video on my top 7 grail boots, this is one of those grail boots. This is the cream of the crop as far as Mizuno made in Japan goes. Yes, there's a lot of GOAT conversations around a boot like this, obviously a boot like this, and even more so, a boot like this, but the Ultralight is something special. Now it comes in this absolutely beautiful gold box thanks to @cleatscorner_1 on Instagram. Go check his page out. He was able to get these out from the United States and was able to ship them in under a week. So that was absolutely amazing. Thank you very much to Cleats Corner. Yes, I did buy these, so these are part of my grail list. Let's jump into the unboxing. Made in Japan, gold box, follows all the same design language as the normal made in Japan boxes, although this one obviously being gold. And then you have the Morelia Ultralight, or UL in Japan. These are a made in Japan product in my normal 9 US, UK 8, Euro 42, and Japan 27 centimeters. If you guys are interested in more sizing information, you can download my free size guide. It's like 70 pages long. You can find it, link in the description. But I wear true to size in all of the Morelia 2 variants, including boots like the brand new Proto as well. All right, here we go. I'm very, very excited for this. Oh my days. Oh my God. Full disclosure, I've actually never seen these in person before. Oh man, I need to take a moment. Holy shit. Wow. Oh my day. Okay, yeah, wow. Whoa. Look at those. Oh my goodness, guys. This is special. This is really, really special. They've got the fold over tongue as well. How dope is that with the black? I think that black fold over tongue looks so cool. Oh my goodness. Yeah, wow. Okay, these are extra, extra special. I am so excited about these. Oh my days. Okay, let's get these out of the box. I could just sit here and look at them all day. There you go. Beautiful, brand new, size 9. And they came with the made in Japan little bag. This time it's white and gold, which is kind of cool. Although these bags kind of suck. That's the one thing about Mizuno products that I don't necessarily love. Anyway, Mizuno Morelia Ultralight, tags and everything. How insane are these football boots? So this is the original Morelia Ultralight actually came out in 2000. For those of you who don't know, that original model was about 200 grams, I believe. So it was very, very light for the time, particularly a design like this with the conical studs, more classic look, and an all leather upper. This one, which is the sort of, I guess you could call it a remake, but it's sort of the new Morelia Ultralight, only weighs 175 grams. So it is easily on par with the other speed boots on the market, despite its very, very classic look. You get an insane full K-leather upper, which is about the same, slightly different stitch patterning, but definitely the same as all these other made in Japan Mizuno Morelia 2 products. And this one just has to be, this one is just slightly thinner, particularly in this midfoot area here, and then in the forefoot where you get a little bit more cushioning as well. The lacing system, as you notice as well, also runs a little bit deeper. So if we put these two boots next to each other, you've got almost one extra lace hole here, where then you go almost to there, I guess. I know it's kind of difficult to see, but there's basically an extra thumbs or fingers width of extra lacing on the Ultralight, which is pretty awesome. So what that means is you're just going to get a lot more adjustability throughout the entirety of your midfoot. Really only your toes are kind of up here in this forefoot area, which is pretty cool. So very nice there. And then you've got the fold over tongue, which is a thin piece of this kind of foam material, and then it says Mizuno there. Such a cool detail. That matte black makes this boot look so sick. I kind of wish that they made the tongue kind of stick down a little bit more. I kind of wish it looked like that quote unquote full time, if you will, but man, these are beautiful. And then what's interesting is that in all of the kind of more standard edition Morelia 2s that we have here, this is obviously a very used pair of one of my favorite colorways. So this Morelia 2 liner here in the heel area is the same as the cross-stitch variant, but with the new ruby red colorway of the Morelia 2 and all of the special editions of the Morelia 2, including the DNA, they went with a suede heel liner, which they've now updated in that Morelia 2 ruby red colorway. What's interesting though is that they have the suede on this one as well, which makes complete sense because it's objectively better than the kind of fake leather version that was in the regular Morelia 2 in the previous generation Morelia 2. But this absolutely oozes class, in my opinion. This is fantastic. Another interesting thing is, I don't know if this is just because there aren't the laces haven't been tied all the way, but assuming that the tongue goes down there, this is definitely a lot larger of a kind of opening as opposed to something like this. If you notice, if that's where the tongue comes up, there's a pretty large difference. Similar to the laces, it's almost as if there's where you stop here, given that the backs of the boots are together. Actually, let's move it a little bit closer. So backs of the boots, there we go, are together. So start here. And then this one kind of goes all the way up to there. And then if you go over, there's kind of this extra space. So this might actually look and feel a little bit more like OG Preds of the early to late 2000s decade. So really interesting there. Now, in terms of the lining, everything else is pretty much the same. You do have the micro taffeta inner lining, which is very, very standard, prevents overstretching, but also breathes a little bit, which is really nice. Same heel, and I'm completely having a brain fart right now. The sole plate, wow. So this is the sole plate from the non-updated Morelia 2 with the rivets here in the forefoot. The standard conical stud pattern, which I like. It's a little bit outdated in my opinion. I think it would be really cool for them to just go over to kind of the DNA style of boot with the Morelia 2 upper and the Neo 4 and Neo 4 beta sole plate. But needless to say, this is a proven formula. It's worked for ever and ever and ever, and this boot is just sensational. So I'm probably sure you guys are all wondering, as am I, how do these fit and feel? How's the sizing? And obviously, how do they perform on pitch? Let's rock and roll. All right, ladies and gentlemen, out on the pitch with one of my grail football boots. This is something I am very excited for, so enjoy this section because I definitely will. Let's get these on feet. I'm going to assume these are going to fit very similar to the regular Morelias, as well as the, oh my days, come on. Oh, these are so good. This feels like a combination of Morelia 2, Cross Stitch, and Morelia Proto. It's kind of like in the middle of all those. So you could argue, I guess, like a little bit more, maybe a little bit more tactical stitching compared to the Morelia 2. I do think that with, you'll be able to see with some of the close-up shots that there is a pretty decent amount of extra room up in the higher part of the ankle, where I do think they could have gone with a runner's knot. Obviously, we have to flip the tongue over just because it looks really cool, even though it's going to pack up onto my ankle quite a bit. But overall, they've gone with the suede heel liner. They basically released this boot before, this boot released before the update to the Morelia 2, and they did exactly what they did for the DNA series, which was put the suede heel liner essentially from the Morelia Neo series on the heel of this, which makes the playing experience and the on-feet comfort just absolutely next level. This is a pair of boots that I am so excited to wear. They look crazy, classic. The gold is obviously an amazing vibe, and I mean, touch on the ball's insane. It's the most perfect raw leather sensation you're ever gonna find. And I think these are 100% a boot that I would wear any time of the day. So let's jump into some dribbling. We'll get a little bit of dribbling in.
As I mentioned before, these are going to be probably almost identical to the way that, to the way that the Morelia 2 feels. And yeah, now they are very similar to the Morelia 2, but they do feel a little bit lower profile. So particularly around the ankle area, I already have a little bit of a pop out space here. That's where I would maybe consider doing an extra lace hole, but it feels like all the best parts of a Morelia 2, but they're just like lighter and slightly lower profile. And I do appreciate if you've gotten to this far in the video. Number one, thank you for being here. But number two is, I realize for a lot of people watching this video is gonna be like, well, why would I care about these? Because they're not available to anybody. But what I will say is there's a lot that you can gather from this video as far as the fit and comfort of a made in Japan Mizuno leather boot, particularly if you're gonna buy the Protos, you're gonna buy the Morelia 2, or the ultralight on the resale market for whatever you can find it for. These are boots that will last a really long time. They're absolutely beautiful to look at, and most importantly, they will fit pretty much everybody. All right, we'll get this little rebounder going, bounce it off, and get right into the corner. Just getting a little bit of warm up for the adductors here. Get a sense of what the boots are like in terms of shooting. Wow. See, a boot like this is simply just enjoyable to wear because it's got that perfect barefoot feeling. Like it immediately wraps around your foot. There's zero break-in time. This is like Morelia Proto and Morelia 2 on steroids, because it just has all of the design elements of the Morelia 2 and the Proto and the cross-stitch M8 version, except now it's in a package that weighs only 170, wow, I'll do one more, 175 grams, and it's gold. Like what else can you say? They're just absolutely beautiful. And as I expected, hopefully you can see this, but the tongue isn't gonna stay down, which is a bummer because I do like the black accent on the tongue, but whatever. You can't have everything perfect, right? Especially on a boot like this. All right, little dribble and finish. Yeah, lovely. Man, just trying to pass it into the corner there. The goal is really just to finish into the side net and to get that technique going. I'll go from both sides back to back, which is obviously lovely. And I am just thoroughly enjoying myself here because these are absolutely sensational. Now, one thing that I will say, and I've complained about this on the Morelia, well, complained is a very strong word for a boot that's basically perfect, is the sole plate. I kinda wish they would have put either the Wave Cup sole plate, nice, crossbar. Ooh. I wish they would have put either the Wave Cup sole plate or the AG sole plate on this, like they did with the Proto, or even the Morelia Neo. So almost made it like the DNA, but like a little bit more heritage looking with the tongue. I think that would have been really, really cool. That being said, you know, that's kind of my only complaint about this boot. Maybe that and the little extra lace hole that could have been nice, just because the laces go so deep and so wide as it is. All right, a little bit more of freestyle dribbling into a shot. We'll try to curl these into the far post as effortlessly as I can possibly manage. Nice, lovely. I broke a hole in the net, look at that. My legs are too strong. So this is a boot that, for all intents and purposes, at least for what I'm looking for in a leather football boot, you guys know I'm a huge fan of the Proto. You know, obviously the Morelia 2 is one of the GOATs. Oof. And this is just my pinnacle. There's a reason why it's on my GOAT list. There's a reason why it is one of my grail boots. And I am so thankful to Cleats Corner, obviously, for getting these out to me and really helping make, in a lot of ways, a dream come true, because I really wanted this pair when it first came out and they were so hard to get, and they're here and I'm enjoying them and playing in them, which is crazy. So massive shout out to Cleats Corner. And yeah, this is just a huge blast for me. All right, a little dribbling to right-footed shot. We're gonna get a little bit more, as opposed to a curl, we're gonna do a little bit of a different technique here and just go more like power into the top bins, just like that. We'll see if I can actually do it 2 more times. But that's the idea really, is just getting a little bit of a different technique, training both feet and enjoying the hell out of a pair of boots that I have always wanted to try. So these are going in the collection, and I'm gonna be enjoying these for a lot longer. So what's the thesis then of this video? Let's do one more actually. What's the thesis of the video? The thesis of the video is Mizuno Japan products are the best in the world at what they do because they have a clear idea of what they're supposed to be, which is comfort, longevity, build quality, performance, and class. I'm just like making that up in my head, but I do think that this is a boot that oozes class, amazing build quality. I'm out on a turf pitch and absolutely no scuffs, nothing wrong with the boots, and they're comfortable to wear and absolutely amazing. And they're probably gonna last me a really long time, particularly because I'm not gonna be out here playing in these boots 24/7. All right, getting into some free kicks, which is gonna be enjoyable. The idea is to go top left-hand corner. I'm gonna try to whip these in and get a good kind of up and down if I can, like up and down over the wall. That's kind of the idea here. Let's see how we go. Nope, that's okay. Maybe a little bit less power. Maybe I'll try 100% class, just like these boots are. No, not trying to fang it, not trying to get just up and over the wall. Yep, oof. Maybe that's the next one. All right, let's do that again. Overall, incredibly comfortable, incredibly enjoyable to play, and the Morelia Ultralight easily goes into the GOAT category for me, despite the use of the Morelia 2 sole plate, which is in its own right pretty good. Oof, not so much. That's okay. Let's jump into the conclusion. All right, so concluding thoughts on the Morelia Ultralight. These are an absolute pleasure to wear. And if you get the opportunity to try a pair like this, the regular Morelia 2, the Morelia Proto, any of those boots, even the DNAs, honestly, all the sort of Morelia 2 and Morelia 2 variants are absolutely sensational, particularly the models that have the suede in the heel, because it makes the boots go almost immediately from, ooh, nice comfort, like slipper-like comfort, but maybe lacks a little bit of performance because there's a little bit of rubbing back here, to like completely locked in despite there not being an extra lace loop deeper in this boot, and just absolutely phenomenally comfortable to wear. As you can see, the lacing system goes way deeper than usual to a pair of boots, so you really only have like the top of your toes pointing out here in front of the lacing, which gives this boot essentially the perfect fit for whatever type of foot shape, including the fact that after one session, it is just buttery, buttery soft. So this is one of those grail pairs of boots. There's a reason for that, and this is a pair of boots that I'm so excited to have in my collection. So hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if there is any other boots that are of this type of caliber that are a little bit more rare and a little bit more interesting, let me know down in the comment section below. As always, be awesome, take care, see y'all in the next video.